You ever have a day when the world just decides, out of nowhere, that you don't get to belong? I mean, here's the scene: peaceful city park, golden sunlight through the leaves, families spread out on the grass, kids laughing, grown-ups talking over lattes. And in the middle of all of that, a little boy, 10 years old, dark brown skin, skinny frame lost in a red hoodie, stands with his grandmother's violin, the only thing he's got left of her since cancer took her last fall. That's Malik. That's me. I wasn't looking for trouble, just wanted to feel her close again, the way you do when the world feels big and you feel real small. Let me back up a sec, because I know what you're thinking: who gets mad at a kid for playing music in a park, right? But the thing is, some folks don't need a reason. You could see it in their faces before the first note. The lady in the tennis skirt, her sunglasses sharp enough to cut. The man beside her, arms crossed, whispering just loud enough. Always looking for sympathy, you know how it is. But I heard my grandma's voice in my head: play like you belong, don't ever let them see you fold. So I played. First note shaky, second stronger, and before long the world faded away, and it was just me, the song, and that little patch of sun by the fountain. Except, it wasn't just me. Not for long. Because even as a couple of little kids stopped to listen, the adults started circling with their eyes, with their words. Bet his mom's hiding in a car, waiting for handouts. Like they knew anything about us. Like music was some kind of con. I tried to drown them out, but then came the footsteps, heavy, slow, uniforms cutting through the crowd. Two cops, eyes hard, moving like they already made up their minds. "Hey, kid," one called, the taller one, voice rough as gravel. "What are you doing out here?" My heart pounded, couldn't catch my breath, palm slick on the violin. "I'm just playing, sir," I said, hoping politeness would make me invisible. But they just stared, looking me up and down like I was a stray dog someone ought to call animal control on. "You here with someone?" he pressed, tone all suspicion and no curiosity. Before I could answer, the tennis skirt lady chimed in. Saw him hanging around for over an hour. First it's music, next thing he's asking for money. I wanted to disappear, but my feet wouldn't move. "I'm not begging," I stammered. "Just playing." The cop took a step closer. "We've had complaints. You're making people uncomfortable. Gonna have to ask you to stop." Behind me, the crowd was growing, but nobody said a word. The kids who'd stopped to listen just stared, eyes wide, as if waiting for me to turn invisible right there. That's when the cop reached for my violin. "Let me see that," he ordered, snatching it from my hands so quick I barely had time to react. "Please, sir, that's mine." It was my grandma's. My voice cracked, panic welling up. But he just sneered, turning the instrument over like it was nothing. Then, before I even understood, lifted it above his head and smashed it against the pavement. I swear, the sound of that wood breaking was louder than a gunshot. The whole park froze, little kids gasped, adults fell silent. All I could do was drop to my knees, grabbing at the broken pieces, hands shaking, tears burning my face. My whole world, every memory of her, scattered on the ground in front of everyone, and not a single grown-up did a damn thing. You know what I mean? The cops just stood there, looking down at me like I was some problem finally solved. "Show's over, pack it up," he said, cold as ice. But then, here's the twist: my mom arrived. Now, you wouldn't pick her out in a crowd. Black jeans, simple coat, hair pulled back, but there's something about her eyes that just makes folks pause. Camille Johnson. She didn't shout, didn't plead, just walked straight up, knelt beside me, hand on my shoulder. "You okay?" she whispered, and all I could do was choke out, "It was Grandma's." I saw the pain flicker in her eyes, but she buried it deep. Then she turned to the officers, her voice calm but carrying across the park, "I want your badge numbers." The cop laughed. "Oh, one of those. Gonna lecture me about racism, how your kid's an angel, right?" The crowd started murmuring, some folks filming, others folding their arms, waiting for the drama. My mom didn't blink. "You destroyed private property," she said flat. The cop rolled his eyes. "It was garbage, lady. You want to complain? Come down to the station." She nodded. "Fine. Let's go." That ride felt like it lasted forever. Me in the back seat, clutching broken wood, my mom stone still beside me. At the station, we sat for ages. Officers came and went, shooting looks our way. Then, finally, The police chief himself walked in. And here's where everything changed. His face lost all its confidence the second he saw my mom. "Camille," he said, like a man seeing a ghost. "What the hell is going on here?" She stood, cool as winter. "I want to know why your officers destroyed my son's violin and dragged us here like criminals." He looked at her, then the badge in her hand, and you could see the blood drain from his face. FBI, Internal Affairs, the kind of badge that makes even cops sweat. My world tilted as I realized my mom wasn't just anyone. She was the kind of someone people answered to. She demanded the footage from the patrol car. When it played, the whole room went silent. Me, small and scared, the officers closing in, the violin smashing, the crowd doing nothing. The chief looked like he might throw up. "Both officers suspended. Pending review," he said, barely above a whisper. My mom leaned in, voice like steel. "This is about what you let happen in broad daylight, in front of my son, in front of your community." Afterward, things moved fast. Investigation, press, folks suddenly apologizing left and right. But what mattered to me was what came after. A couple days later, when my mom took me to the old music store downtown, I still had the biggest piece of my violin, wrapped in paper, like a piece of me I couldn't let go. The shopkeeper, a tall man with kind eyes, watched as we walked in. "I called ahead," my mom said, her voice leaving no room for argument. He led us to the counter. There, waiting, was a new violin, beautiful wood, polished bright. But on the back, built right into it, was the salvage piece from Grandma's violin. Imperfect, rough, initials still visible, not hidden away. "They can break the wood," my mom whispered, hand warm on my shoulder, "but they can't break your song." For a minute, I just stood there, afraid to touch it. But when I finally did, something heavy lifted. I tucked it under my chin, pulled the bow across the strings. First note wobbled, second was stronger, and then music, real music, filled the shop. The world outside was still the world. You know, people judging, cops making excuses, justice coming too slow. But in that moment, with my mom beside me and my grandma's song in my hands, I felt bigger than all of it. We walked out into the city, sun on our backs, and my mom squeezed my shoulder. "Next time you play," she said, that rare smile breaking through, "play like you own the whole damn park." And maybe I will. Maybe the world doesn't change overnight, but every time someone stands up, every time someone refuses to let hate win, a little light cracks through. What about you? Where do you stand when the song stops, when you see something wrong? Let me know down in the comments. Hit like, share, subscribe, because the fight for dignity, for justice, for a place to belong, that's a song we gotta play together.